All right, show it again. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Let's begin with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We want to acknowledge that Mr. Moore is joining us via telephone. And Mrs. Pennington's probably coming in.
Yeah, she'll be here shortly.
Thank you. All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And we need to move to the fee increase hearing. We just need to clean that up because we didn't get enough postings out. So we're gonna redo it so it's done correct. All right. Come on up.
Thank you. Our fee increases for our meals in our food service program for 26-27 school year. If at any time a school district increases a fee by more than 5%, we do have to take it out to a public hearing, which is why we're here tonight. So with that, the meal fees for student breakfast will increase from $2.35 to $2.60, a 25-cent increase. Adult breakfast will increase from $3 to $3.35, a 35-cent increase. Elementary student lunch will increase from $3.35 to $3.60, a 25-cent increase. Middle school lunches will increase from $3.50 to $3.75 for a 25-cent increase. The high school and academy lunches will increase from $3.60 to $3.85, a 25-cent increase. Adult lunches will increase from $5.10 to $5.35, a 25-cent increase. And the milk will increase from 50 cents to 75 cents, a 25-cent increase. Due to the recent pricing increases within our food service program for food, supplies, and delivery costs, it has become necessary for us to increase these prices to maintain the financial integrity of our child nutrition program.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? Nope. Thank you.
Thanks.
We don't have any signed-in
No
visitors?
sign-in visitors for this hearing.
All right. I would entertain a motion to approve that lunch fee increase.
I move that we approve the lunch fee and increase.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, let's move on to, we have one signed-in visitor, Mr. Reynolds, coming up to the podium. We got 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Awesome. Don Reynolds, 452 East Walcott Lake Court, Middleton. I'm here in large part for a new group, an old group, Middleton Together, focusing in on bringing the community and parents together, coordinating with other parent groups already in existence to help move things like bonds and what have you forward with the school and just do positive things. One thing we're working on right now is continuing on with a positive fan initiative. We've done this last 2 years, handing out popcorn at the home football games to the opposing fans. We're looking to make some adjustments to that, changes to try and impact not just the opposing team, but our own fans and as well. So we'll be working with that. We'll be also involved with the More Social Less Media event coming up on October 12th at the school.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that later on the agenda as well.
And then overall, there will be at some point coming along the Middleton Super Fan idea that has been discussed, or at least that I've brought up a time or two. But I just want to let people know we're here, we're involved. We'll be having our first meeting, the first real big public meeting push this Thursday. As a Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock. So just let you know we're here. We support the school board, what you're doing and what we're trying to get accomplished. We want to bring this community together and try and help people move in the same direction. And we think we can do that as we help them understand how things work and how policies are happening and how budgets move forward and what's expected of them as a patron and a community member, not just those who are involved because they have students here, but those who are involved because they live in this community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I had a question
Yes.
for Mr. Reynolds before you
Yep.
go away. Would
Yep.
that be all right?
Yep, that would be great.
Sorry. For anybody who wanted to participate in that public meeting, how do they do that?
We're gonna do our best to put that out on Zoom, social medias, as much as we can, try to get word out.
So look for if they're looking for it, look for the Zoom link.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we help them in
If
any
you
way?
wanna come to my house, I live in Middleton Lakes, I'm at the end of Sawtooth.
I'm sure your wife appreciates you saying that right now.
Fine. We had 140 people there at one point, for an impromptu party. That just happened after church one day, actually. So we're more than welcome to have you if you want to come out 452 East Walcott Lake Court, Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any discussion on the consent agenda? No? All right. Do you?
I did, but I.
No, go ahead.
No, I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're okay.
It might be on some.
Financials, bus routes, or overnight trips?
Okay, with that being said, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda, or did you
Second.
come up with
No,
something?
go ahead. No,
Okay.
I was gonna.
Yep.
And we got a second from Cindy.
Mhm.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's move on to our discussion items. We have Mr. Hill here, who's gonna talk to us about Promise Academy. Step on up to that podium. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Rick, and I'm the administrator of Promise Academy. And the board, I'm sure, remembers that Midland School District authorizes our charter. So I come here about this time every year to kind of tell you how things have been going. Specifically about the last school year. And I'm going to give you some demographic information and some performance information and tell you about any updates in our charter. So last year, the 25-26 school year, we served exactly 80 students at Promise Academy. I'm sure the board remembers that Promise Academy is on the grounds of the residential facility out there in El Paso. So all of our students live there on campus. We occasionally have a day student or two, but mostly they live out there and they're undergoing psychiatric treatment and therapy. We had 80 students, like I said, and 59 of them were girls and 21 of them were boys. And we have found that the ratio stays about like that. We have far more girls than boys. 20 of our students were 11th graders, 19 were 10th graders, 17 were 9th graders, 10 were 7th graders, 3 were 8th graders, 3 were 12th graders, and 3 were 6th graders. We actually don't serve anything below 6th grade. But 9th, 10th, and 11th are generally what we see the most of there at Promise Academy. We go to school year round, so we also have a summer session, and it just kind of rolls over. We take about a week off, and then we roll right into June and July, and then we take another week off, and we roll into August. So our first day of school was the 3rd of August. Over the summer session, we had 44 kids. Some of those were rolled over from the 25-26 school year. 35 of them were girls and 10 of them were boys. And once again, our 10th grade, 11 of those kids were 10th graders. 9 of them were 12th graders, or 11th graders that actually graduated out of the program. That's kind of who we serve. Our performance summary, and you have copies of this in your board report. This is based on a combination of class grades, engagement with the instructional program, school-based assessments, incidents of behavior, and then successful completion of the residential and clinical programming, as well as transitioning to their next program or their next school district. And 86% of our students met their 25-26 progress goals. Not to put too fine a point out, that's not exactly the same thing as like graduating high school or making all of your grades to get all of your credits, but it's meeting our program goals. 14% of the students did not meet progress goals in one or more classes, and 4 students overall did not meet any progress goals. Those 4 students actually were with us only a few days. It does occasionally happen that a student will come to the residential program and the program is not a good fit, and then they transition out very quickly. I still have to register them for school. They still show up. They're still on my roll, and I still count them, even though they weren't there long enough to actually get anything done. Any questions on that before I move on?
There's 14% of the students that didn't meet the progress goals in one or more classes.
Correct.
What are some of the things that you're doing with those students to work with them or?
Well, we are always trying to meet those kids where they are, and sometimes when they're not meeting their progress goals with us, they're also not meeting their therapeutic progress goals. And so sometimes we'll end up with a discharge that's not a graduation. So we use the word graduation when they are leaving the residential and the treatment program, basically having met their treatment goals. And sometimes we'll get a discharge where they didn't necessarily meet their treatment goals because they needed a different level of care. Maybe they needed a higher level of care for more acuity. And those students sometimes don't meet all of their academic goals either. So they might transition out maybe sooner than some others. Generally, if we have them for enough time, we'll find something. We'll find something to grab onto. But if they're not really meeting their clinical goals, then they'll sometimes transition out. And that becomes a medical or a clinical decision. And I don't really get to have a say in that. So they'll just move them on, even if they're not quite there academically.
And can you give us kind of a demographic or a cross-section of the students that you're serving? You know, what are some of the things they're dealing with and what are some of the other things that you're doing with them?
Yeah, so the students that come to live there are dealing with major depression, suicidal ideation, sometimes suicide attempts, oppositional defiance disorder, general anxiety, and all of our students have to have a psychiatric diagnosis, and they have to have prior program work. So we're not their first stop. So the youth ranch is not the first thing a young person might experience, but it's something along the way. So they've tried other programs, maybe not had a lot of success, and now they are required by a medical doctor, psychiatrist, to have residential treatments. So the other things have been tried, and then they are with us. Our students frequently have missed substantial amounts of school. Sometimes they have been expelled. I've had students actually, right now, been expelled more than once from school. Sometimes they've been avoiding school. I've had several students that have come to us after they've dropped out of school. And I tell them, I dropped you back in, so welcome to the Promise Academy. And they actually do really well. So we've had students that dropped out, came back, we got them back in, they transitioned back to public school, and they've done well. The treatment is the key. I mean, I'm glad we get to be part of this, but I'm not going to take credit for everything because this is a lot of people doing a lot of things. The residential side, they have the youth care providers with the kids all the time. There's therapists, on site all the time, case managers and caseworkers on site all the time. We're part of a much larger situation out there.
Thank you, Rick, for being here. Did you say that most all the students are in the residential facility, or all of them are?
Yes, right now we have one day student, which is they come during the day, they go to school, they go home. And we've had several over the past few years. This particular day student is a former residential student, and the transition to, I guess what you say, standard public school is just not really possible with this student. Doing well enough to not need residential care, but still needs outpatient therapy fairly significantly. And the larger school environment is not really, didn't go well. So they're back with us, a day student. does very well in a much smaller environment, an environment where people kind of understand him.
We were really glad to get to see the facility while it was being built, and I was curious, is the residential facility full then right now?
No, we have 36 kids living there right now. The max is 64. The residential side has their own employees, of course, that don't work for me. I have my teachers. They have their therapists and everything else, and YCPs. And they're staffed right now for 36 kids, and we have 36 kids. As they staff up, they get more kids, and I staff up as we get more kids. But right now I have 4 teachers plus myself plus 1 sub that I can regularly count on. But the residential side, the clinical side, I mean, as you can imagine, they have some attrition with their employees, so they're kind of always hiring, and right now they're staffed for 36.
Very good, thank you.
Do you take students from the whole state of Idaho?
Well, we actually have attendance zones. Essentially, we can take anybody in Idaho, but our 250 odd acres of the youth ranch is our primary attendance zone. The Middleton School District is our secondary attendance zone. So I give priority to a Middleton School District day student, and we've had day students from Middleton. And then Canyon County is our third attendance zone. And
Oh, so you
at that point in time, if someone
goes
wanted
out,
to go,
yeah.
we don't have buses and things like that. So it becomes an issue of, well, can you get them to Providence Academy every day? But if they come and live there, then that's basically our primary attendance zone. We have youth from all over the state of Idaho that live with us.
Thank you. We needed that program.
Well, you're welcome. Now, our charter has remained the same, other than I've changed the dates to reflect this school year, and I've included the names of our new board members in the last appendix. We now have 8 board members, and the last time I talked to you, we might have only had 5 board members. We have 8 board members, so that's the change, and then the change of date, and that's the only things that have been changed.
Perfect. Any other questions? We appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, and if it doesn't offend the board, I have another meeting to go.
You are fantastically okay. Thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's move on to our classified handbook follow-up and adjustments. Is that gonna be you, Mrs. Kenny?
It is. I went through and I highlighted specifically the adjustments that I made, so those stood out to you. And so when you go to page 4, under employment categories, and that's not presented. Do you want me to present this?
Yeah, let's see. Primarily, since this was a follow-up from last meeting.
And so these are the areas that you guys had asked for further information and also for clarification in the handbook. So talking about the categories, exempt versus non-exempt, also talking about just employment status of classified employees. And then on the evaluation side, specifying what that evaluation process looks like and making sure that we included the information regarding that opportunity to have rebuttals to certain pieces of their evaluation as well. And so that's all included, and we also included in the appendix sample evaluations for each of those classified categories, so you could see those too.
Yeah, thank you. That,
You're welcome.
I thought that was well done. I just have one question in terms of when you go down, I think it's page 13, where it says the evaluation rubric. Was there not one done like the other ones?
No, this is, so just to clarify, we utilized this document last school year. We've moved to an online platform, so all of these have actually moved into the online platform. And so we're working on updating the paper copy of this one to reflect the same template as those other ones.
Like the
Yes.
office staff type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we wanted to move it, make sure we got it moved into the online platform and had that up and running for staff before we finish that paper copy of that one.
Okay, it says for educational assistance. Is there a separate one or a separate area that would relate to special education?
We've been utilizing this for them as well. Now, there's other duties as assigned in that, and we try to make sure those are reflected in the notes. There is some changes that we've proposed, we just haven't made a new evaluation for them.
It pretty much follows, but there are some areas that don't necessarily go
Yeah.
with just a classroom assistant.
Right.
So, I was just curious.
And there's been, with the classified evaluations, when I started in this role, there was one evaluation for all classified staff, regardless of paraprofessional, custodial, office staff. It's kind of one very
Very
basic
big, broad.
evaluation. And so there's been iterations that we've been working through. This was the most recent. There's still some work we can do to make them more specific, but just having the differences between that and like custodial and maintenance, some of those were priority to get that all separated out first. And then,
You could see that.
but we are to the spot where we're looking at educational assistants versus like those special education
Mhm.
positions as well too.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other changes or clarifications that would help you guys on this handbook?
Looks good.
Looks good to me.
I'm glad you added that.
Good.
Even though so when they get the handbook, they'll get to see what their evaluation looks like.
Yes.
Okay.
They're all
We'll
in
just,
there.
yeah,
That's
we
good.
just have the ability now, we have a system where it will be done electronically for them.
Uh-huh.
And so we wanted to make sure they have the paper copy, but their final versions have now become electronic.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the data management plan.
Okay, so normally, Mrs. Goodson would present this. She wasn't able to be here tonight and asked if I could step in on that. But essentially, we just wanted to give a new schedule. It should be at your stations there for the assessment and continuous improvement. Oh, is that one? Did we send this one out?
It's on the,
Oh, you have, oh, I sent it,
Computer.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry, that was a digital one. So what we're looking at is essentially mirroring how we've done the data before, because most of the data comes in at the same time of the year as it has in past years. So we didn't change too much from that. The one proposed change is moving a group of some of these, the iReady reading, fall IRI, and interim ISAT into the December board meeting, so that November could be utilized to do updates on our student pathways, the journey plans that we've been working on, and having that as an update to you as a board, because our plan is to have those active when we move into registration in the spring. Wanted to have you as a board be able to see where we were at with that, with plenty of time to be able to move forward on it, on any changes that you might suggest. So we're looking at that. We moved the engagement survey because we'll be giving the engagement survey prior to May. So we moved the engagement survey results up into the from June. Last year it was in the June meeting, moved it up to the May meeting. Other than that, most of these things have stayed the same. There won't be a curriculum adoption in March, unless something, some amazing funding comes out of the sky, I guess. But I left it on there just so that we know that that's a place that, as we're moving into other years, that's typically when we would have that proposal made. But in March, there will certainly be new course proposals for the upcoming school year. Are there any other metrics or accountability measures that you would like as a board to see and have included on this calendar? Because we don't have to these are based on what data is available when, but if there's additional data that's not included here, we're happy to include that and put that in as another metric to update you as a board on.
Is the SAT the only college entrance exam?
The only one that we're giving to across the board.
Okay.
and honestly, most colleges don't even require it, it feels like.
A lot of the colleges that our students attend just require the graduation from high school.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, interesting.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there anything else on there?
I'm just wondering, I don't know how feasible it would be to see where we're, how many months into the year, looking at where we are with the RTI situation. And I know it's in every school.
And I think we could absolutely report on that. Are there specific metrics from the RTI process that you'd like to?
Well, I know there's that process
Yeah.
of what they go through, but is there a way to kind of give an overview of how students are doing? I know you can't really give names or
Well,
anything, of
yeah,
course,
and
but
I mean, and part of our RTI process is, it's students moving in and out of that. I don't know, I think there's probably ways that we could gather that data, at least if you have any suggestions on
Like a
measures we would
in and
use.
out.
we'll kind of
I
just
think
have
we could, especially now that we're moving into Skyward, we could pull those metrics out of there as far as, I-plans, how many we have sitting that we're still reviewing for qualifications, where they're at in the tier process, like we could get some overall.
movement between the tiers.
tier 1, 2,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then how many, like I said, overall, how many students we have on I-plans, kind of progress we're seeing there, referrals, like we can give some of that overarching information. And then on the behavior side of it, kind of thinking more of that MTSS
Mhm.
model, there's definitely information that we're collecting there that we can share too. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, just some way to kind of get an idea of where kids are at. I mean, as far as how many of them, like you said, on I-plans and looking at the reading and behavior as well. I mean,
So if we kind of gave summary information regarding how many are on I-plans, if it's for math, reading, behavior,
yeah,
kind of what we're looking at there, and then maybe referral, data, should we start with that? Is there?
that might be a good way. I was trying to kind of narrow it down because there is a lot there.
Yeah.
And, just maybe having the I don't know, principals want to come and just kind of give, or whoever's in charge of the RTI situation at the schools, however you guys think it would be.
I think we could definitely,
Possible,
I
yeah.
think it would be worthwhile to have that kind of a discussion. As I'm looking at our setup, I would say January would be probably a good timing as far as, kind of has a lighter
Okay.
report
That's
already.
true,
that
yeah,
month.
and then just,
Okay,
January,
Yeah.
I think we can get that. Okay, we will work on that. We may come back after we talked with our principals and Mrs. Goodson with a different suggestion after we kind of work through what that could look like. But I think that we can get that put together. So,
okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Any other thoughts or suggestions?
I think we can move on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go to our new course, fly fishing.
Okay.
That would mean you get extra days off of school.
Is this for the board members or is this for students?
Right? What we found, we have one of our new science teachers at the high school. In his previous school, actually taught this course. And as he left the school, they were not planning to continue the course. And they allowed him to bring all of the equipment that he had to, and I apologize. I am not a fly fisherman, so I don't know what all that equipment entails, but there is a lot of equipment that comes with that, I'm sure. But anyway, the high school has found a way to include that within their schedule, knowing that now that this new teacher has come into the school and the district. The course description is the same as what you saw in the board packet. But if you have any questions, I can attempt to answer, but for the most part, this is like any other. It'll be a science elective course within our biology program.
Does it start at the beginning of school or does it go into?
That is a good question. I believe, Well, I don't wanna jump in there. I can let you know whether they're starting that this semester or not. I would bet it's a second semester
That's what
edition,
I'm thinking too.
but I can find out.
Okay.
So what's our policy about board members being teachers aides?
As long as it's
Special
volunteer, you're
assignment.
welcome.
Yeah.
That's right, you can't get
We
paid.
cannot pay you.
You don't get a fishing pole either.
I might donate.
Mm. All right, thank you. That sounds amazing. Let's move on to all our sped fun. Mr. Nick Schneider, come on up here.
And if I could give you a quick note, Chairman,
Yes.
the STED paraprofessional process and procedure and certified process and procedure, Mrs. Scheck-Schneider did get to me. I did not pass that along. I thought it was part of this group that I had passed along, and it was not. I'm gonna recommend that we move those to September,
Okay.
just because there's no chance that you would not have had a chance to review and look through that.
That works. So you only get to do one thing today.
And then come
And
back
you have to get to come back.
over it.
I think that Dr. Gee should have cookies for you.
I probably should, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Pennington is going to open up the kind of the overview that I think Mr. D sent to you. So, anytime the Idaho legislature updates the Idaho Special Education Manual, as districts, we have to bring it to our boards and kind of share the updates and then talk through our district adopting the updated manual. So I want to say year before last was the last time we had an update, when they looked at the criteria for eligibility under the category of specific learning disability. So that was just one piece. This, a special education manual, it's listed as the 2025 special education manual because that's when all of the work was completed and it was presented to the legislature for their approval. And then it took until this year with their approval, and then it went into effect July 1.
Was that after the federal compliance
Yes.
thing was
Yes. So
taken
the,
care of? Is that why it took longer?
I think so. So the Office of Special Education Programs,
You know, so-
acronym is OSEP, they came in, I want to say 3 years ago to the state to do some monitoring, as they do for all states, and said, State of Idaho, there are some concerns that have been brought to us. Here are the things that you need to do to fix them.
Were these all the different chapters that they went through, or?
Not all of them. I can't remember specifically what the items were that the federal government said we needed to update. Some of them were like specific learning disability. That's why that one item was changed a couple of years ago, because that needed to be something right away. Other ones, it was just looking at updates to our processes and procedures based on feedback from the federal government.
Okay.
So this 2025 special education manual, there were special education directors, myself included, and folks from the Idaho State Department of Education who worked on the updates to this. So it was nice to kind of have some input as a team member on that. They updated multiple chapters and then added some new chapters. So chapter 4 is evaluation and eligibility. So evaluating students for special education and then determining their eligibility. They've clarified some specific team members that must be part of eligibility teams. If we're looking at autism spectrum disorder, we always have to have our school psychologist and our speech language pathologist, because they're the experts in some of those areas. If we're looking at an intellectual disability, we always have to have our school psychologist because they look at IQ testing. So it specified evaluation team members specifically for school psychologists and speech language pathologists. The biggest change that will definitely impact all of our teachers and students is for the last, I don't even know how long, we've always had when parents sign consent and give us consent to evaluate their child for special education, we have to have their written consent. The federal law has said we can have 60 calendar days to do that. Idaho had an exception in there that says if you're out of school for 5 or more consecutive school days, those don't count in that 60 days. So for 5-day school districts, spring break, holiday break, Thanksgiving, and summer didn't count. So they could pull that number out of that 60 days. Well, then with more districts in the state starting to move to 4-day school weeks, it was noticed that we don't have as many school days to evaluate a student, to observe them, to do testing, to get to know them, all of those things. So the change that's made with effective July 1 is that the timeline went from 60 calendar days to 45 school days. So we now have 45 school days from the date that we get written consent from a parent until we have to hold a meeting and determine if they're eligible for special education or not. So that's a shift. Thankfully, the system that we use for our special education programming, where like all of the students' data and information is in, they have calendars built in. So when I met with our special education certified staff today, I talked about this, that it's built in there. We say when we got consent, it pops out 45 days, but we also have my team members in my office that we're keeping an eye on that too, just to ensure that those dates are always accurate, especially as we start that initially. So that will be the biggest change for our special education teachers, and then helping families understand that, especially those who are familiar with special education. They also clarified requirements for different disability categories. There were one that was renamed, and then some specific things that must be in place in order for teams to find a student eligible for a specific eligibility category. There are 14 categories we can find a student eligible for special education under. So they clarified some things and specified some things in multiple categories. In chapter 5, which is the individualized education program, that's the IEP, that's the plan we put together for a student who's eligible for special education. They clarified team members as far as who must be part of an IEP team, and also some information as far as like the definition of a parent, definition of team members, things like that. They clarified the definition of a student who would meet criteria for our alternate assessment. So we use ISAT for the majority of students, but some students who cognitively may not be able to access general education and show their knowledge the way that the ISAT does, we might use an alternate assessment, and they have criteria for qualification for that. And then transfer process for students. So when a student transfers from another school district to ours, we have a certain timeline that all districts have to follow. So it clarified that transfer process. Chapter 11 provided some additional information in the discipline chapter. It had been, I want to say 2016 might have been the last time that some of these things were updated, or 2018. They clarified the discipline-related processes that have to be in place, and then included information on restraint and seclusion. That the legislative information came, I think the legislative, it was 4 years ago now. So then that hadn't been updated in the Idaho Special Education Manual yet. Chapter 13 is dispute resolution. So they clarified and kind of simplified the explanation of the process. So if parents disagree with a team decision or things like that, or need some additional assistance, this is a kind of goes through what those processes look like for parents, so that we as district folks are aware. And then they've added 2 new chapters that weren't here in the special education manual before. So a chapter on homeschool students, because we're kind of seeing a rise in students who are homeschooled. So better understanding how we support homeschooled students in public schools and charters. And then chapter on the general supervision system. So that's kind of looking at all of the monitoring and supervision that the state does on the 17 indicators that the state has to report back related to special education to the federal government. So just kind of clarifying and talking through what that system looks like.
Question.
Yeah.
How, they added chapter 10 for homeschool students. How do we currently support special ed homeschool students?
That's a great question. So any student who lives within our district boundaries, we are obligated to kind of locate, identify, and evaluate if there is a concern from their parents, from their family members, caregivers, that they might have a disability. So if a student is being homeschooled and the parent reaches out and says, I think my child might have X, Y, or Z disability, or they've been diagnosed with this, I want to find out if they're eligible for special education. The district goes through that process as if they were one of our students. We just schedule it a little differently because they're not in our buildings. If we find them eligible for special education, then we draft an individualized plan and provide it to the parents and say, if you were to enroll in the district, here's our offer of a free appropriate public education. And then the parent can choose to enroll, and then we would implement it or say, no, thank you, but these are great documents and I'll use them in whatever way makes the most sense for my family.
Okay.
So, and then there's also clarification in there on dual enrollment, because I know that's been a lot of information as well as far as dually enrolling as a private school or a non-public school student and public school student. So,
Thank you for that
On the
clarification.
homeschool, we've been doing that for quite a while.
yes.
They just decided to put it into our manual.
I think that because there's so many more students accessing their education through homeschool, and there were more questions as far as what are the requirements and can you duly enroll? Can you be a homeschool student and a public school student at the same time? I think they wanted to clarify that, just because there's an increase in
Yeah.
students who are being homeschooled across our state.
I have one more if nobody else does.
Go ahead.
As far as the dispute resolution, have you guys, has our district used facilitators before you've gone to this dispute resolution stage?
So facilitators are one of the steps within the dispute resolution process. So, not since I have been here, we haven't, so I'm not sure previous to me joining the district. The State Department really is trying to encourage districts to work with families through facilitation, so we can request a facilitator if we're having a hard time coming to an agreement with a parent or family. We can go to the State Department and request a facilitator to come in and kind of go through that process with us. Both parties have to agree to that though. And then they also offer, and that's free to our district. They would always rather us ask for help, or anybody, the parents.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with mediation. That would be the next step, is requesting a mediator. So it's kind of those steps before getting to the point where the State Department lawyers are involved.
Yeah. I just wondered, I just saw that
Yeah,
presentation that Ramona did with,
with Kendall.
yes.
Yeah.
Where she really, and I thought, well, that's a good idea. I mean, if you sense that kind of butting head situation, a facilitator may kind of ease that before they go to the State Department and complain.
Yeah, and typically what the State Department will do, if a parent calls the State Department and says, I've got this concern about my child's school or their district or special education, their first question is, have you spoken to their administrator? Have you contacted their special ed director?
Yeah.
And then they will typically, as the State Department, contact us and say, hey, we had a parent call with a concern. Here's the information they provided. And then that gives me the opportunity. So we've had that happen once, where I reached out to the parent because they had reached out to the state, and we were able, as an IEP team, to kind of come to agreements and move forward. So.
Okay, okay,
I
Thank
did
you.
have one question.
Uh-huh.
Has any of this affect the actual criteria for what any changes as far as how a student would qualify or would they qualify for special education?
Within that chapter 4, it didn't necessarily change. I think there was one area where the actual requirement changed. The rest of them were just clarified. The one area where it changed was, one of the categories is developmental delay. So maybe we don't have a specific concern, but we know that student is delayed in one way or another, and we have assessment results to tell us that. In order for the student to be found eligible for special education in one of the areas, so it's like cognitive, fine or gross motor, social emotional, communication, and adaptive, like daily living skills. If they only have one area where they're really struggling, so say it's a student with communication and they're really struggling with that, they would have to be at a certain percentile. So when we do standardized testing, like our speech pathologist would do it, and then they would be like, they're the second percentile or below, which means they're very, very low compared to their same age peers. It used to be the third percentile or below, and then now it's switched. They changed it to second to align with standard deviation. So like our middle of the road is 100, and if the standard deviation is 15, two of those would be 70, like a score of 70, which equates to the second percentile. So it's just clarifying, so it did change that, but the rest of them, it really just specified more about what it could or couldn't include, or who needs to be on the team, or what actual data you need to have, where it was a little more vague in the past.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Do we need to table those? No action?
We'll need to table when we get to the action.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's do our district recognitions.
Okay, so we've got two that I want to present to the board, and this is something that we're going to try and do regularly in our board meetings, is to show different recognitions that folks have made in our district. Gina is here tonight. She was here because we had the bus routes in the consent agenda, just in case there were any questions. But Gina, how long have you been with Caldwell Transportation?
8 years. I've been in the district in the busing industry for almost 20 though, at that location.
So Gina's been around the block a few times on how that.
Literally.
But Gina was recently awarded the Presidential Award of Excellence by the North American Central School Bus. North American Central School Bus is the one that purchased Caldwell Transportation.
Mhm.
And so that was not just for Caldwell Transportation, that was across
That's
North
awesome.
America.
Oh, wow.
That she was honored for that, and she received an award this summer. So I wanted to make sure that you as a board were aware, and that our public was aware that Gina
Very
had
nice.
been awarded.
Did you get a
that.
school bus for that?
Well, I did get a few.
I saw it from Kansas, one of them.
I traveled back myself and picked those up.
Did you really? Wow.
That was very fun.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for your hard work.
And I'll just say, Gina does a fantastic job of
I
working with
I
us
concur.
as a school district and keeping us updated on what we need to make sure we're do. It's been a good working relationship between the district and Caldwell Transportation over the last several years. So
Perfect.
appreciate her and her efforts there.
What was the name of the award?
The Presidential Award of Excellence for the North American Central School Bus.
Very cool.
That's great.
All right.
It is, it's presidential, sorry, Ernie.
The other award, it was actually for Andy Ankeny. He's here tonight to talk about, help us with our, the air quality discussion. But Andy was awarded the Dick Fleischman Award by the Idaho High School Athletic Association at their recent, it was last week, was their Hall of Fame dinner. They were inducting Hall of Fame members in for that organization. But they have a Dick Fleischman Award, which is given out each year for essentially for schools and athletic directors who do all the work of hosting events for statewide tournaments. And we host a lot of statewide tournaments at Middleton High School. And he's well respected within the community, the athletic community, and people know that when they come there, he'll take care of them and make sure that things go well. But Andy, what have we hosted here?
That is true.
Last year we hosted state 5A golf. Thank you, Pam, for your help.
You're welcome, that was fun.
We hosted the 5A state girls soccer tournament.
That's right.
We hosted, I can't remember if we did a back-to-back for the state football champ. We hosted a state football championship. Then we hosted the state track meet.
State track.
Do you do basketball sometimes
We
too?
do, we are.
On occasion?
It's a 2-year rotation.
Okay.
So, but it takes a lot of people to get done. Amber's helped out over the years a bunch, helping with tickets, and it takes a lot of people to make those things run smoothly and well. So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, just wanted to make sure, and I think that's something we can bring, whenever there's opportunities for us
Yes,
to
please.
recognize that, so that you as a board know, so that we're able to put it out with the public as well.
Well, I think those state meets really help our school and recognition for a district. I think they're a great thing. I mean, there's just so many people here. I really like our state track meet.
Next, you need to get the Hall of Fame people to help you.
I'll do it.
it's a good idea.
Yeah, happy to help.
Okay, that is all I had on that.
Well, thank you. Congratulations, both of you. Thank you. All right, let's move to our review of the school resource officer agreement with the city of Middleton.
No, I think I'll just give them the details there. Overall, the agreement didn't change in terms of what the resource officer would be doing. We did change obviously the number, going down from the 2 that we had to 1. The city did increase the amount for each individual officer, so the amount increased to $89,935. That's a 4% increase over the last
Who
year.
did that? The city?
The city.
The city, so was there any dickering back and forth? Was there no bartering?
There is an opportunity to negotiate. I don't know what the city what they are able to do, but I do think there's room for a discussion about what that cost is. We're approaching $90,000 for one.
What do they get paid to
contracted
be a
employee.
policeman?
Well, yeah, what,
Yeah, I don't have that information.
he
but I
doesn't know,
think
but it might be worth it
Yes,
to
yeah.
just go back and what's the hourly rate? And what
65
services are we actually getting out of that hourly rate? And what are we sharing with the city?
Yeah, and what happens during the summertime hours
Yes,
and all of those. I
yes.
think it would be worthwhile having those outlined.
Well, the way it's written in there, they're just charging you take the 144 students times the 8.5 hours, and it's like just, comes up to be the 624.55. That's what they get, and then the hourly rate for when they go to high school games,
Yeah.
dances.
Right. And I think there's room to have some conversations about how that's being spread out, the cost that's the actual cost that's being expended on a resource officer through the city, what other duties they're doing for the city, and making sure that the city is paying for those duties that are being done by the city.
Yes.
What, on number 4, it states as some of the dances and the games and all that stuff. It at the very end before it says et cetera, it says driver's education. What does that mean?
That's a holdover from when we had a driver's education program, and they would go and teach a section of the class.
They would go one time
Yeah.
teaching the class.
Yeah. And so they would,
We got dinged for it.
so they would charge us if it was outside of the regular, but we have not had the driver's education
I know
over
for
the
a
last
while,
several
yeah.
years, so.
So Cindy, you're saying the contract should be more based on hourly as opposed to how many students or?
Well, it just kind of makes me wonder where they came up with.
Right.
It's not the students. Sorry,
Yeah, it's the number
it's
of days.
student days.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, okay, yeah, I see
So-
that here.
I know that the city is trying to get this ready for their October meeting, because that's their process. So I think there's time that we have that we
Okay.
could go back and bring this back to the board in our September meeting.
I would love to see that happen.
One quick question, let's see, section 4, where it does talk about state track. And Andy, you may be able to chime in on this as well. With our new process and new policy going through for charging for usage of things, are we charging for use of the track for those state competitions? And if so, does that include the cost of an SRO?
I think I'll let Andy talk to this specifically, but I believe what we're looking at more is some of the revenue that we're able to generate during those needs. But I'll let Andy talk a little bit more specifically to how those agreements are laid out.
Yeah, I mean, usually, historically, with the Idaho High School Activity Association, they're using a member's school for a state meet. There's no charge. The state pays. I mean, we get all concessions, anything else that goes there. I mean, there's some specific guidelines we do need to follow. The only time that I know the state paying for venues is when they're using Holt Arena, or if they use Albertson Stadium, or if they're at the Kibbe Dome, things like that, even though those are usually given at a discounted rate because they are a non-for-profit. But historically, it's just the idea that, you're hosting a state event for member schools, but then we get to keep all the concessions. There were times where we'd host state soccer before, when it was still, grass. Now it's a lot easier, right? With the wear and tear that, at times I think a couple different times we had $1,000 check and we just sort of put back into ways to make sure we bettered the turf the next year, whatever that looked like.
They'd only charge admission like for basketball or football.
No,
Yeah, you charge for
For
track.
state tournaments, we'll charge for
Yeah,
all the others.
yeah.
Yeah, but,
Except for golf, you don't.
Ticket money at state events goes back to the Idaho High School Activity Association.
Because
But they turn out to be
Okay,
Like it's
be a
all,
nightmare logistically.
okay, they've got that built in.
yes.
Got it.
And it is one of those situations if we ever felt, and really haven't, but if we felt like it was such a high level thing that we needed an SRO or police officers there, I would just simply send that to the state to pay for.
And that's fair, I think, yeah.
So they don't normally come every time. It's just when
And
you.
that's our own,
For a state event?
Yeah,
No.
no.
only if we got word that there might be an issue, primarily in the stands.
Yeah.
Um,
And every once in a while I've asked, like Mr. Randall and others, just drive by, like
Mhm.
those charges, just come show your face for 5 minutes. Definitely to some of the high profile, state soccer games we've held before.
Okay, so I'll bring that back in
Perfect.
September.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about the Unplugged event and the board meeting on the 12th of October.
Okay, the only thing that I wanted to clarify and make sure that we were still planning on holding our board meeting in October up at the high school to coincide with that's when the high school will be doing their parent engagement night, similar to what we did last year. We talked about that during our January organization meeting, but I wanted to make sure that that was still where the board wanted to go. That's kind of the first part of this. Is that still where the board wants to go as far as holding the meeting at the high school?
Oh, yes.
It's my favorite meeting.
I think it's a really helpful.
So it'll be, like I said, in conjunction with the parent engagement night at the high school. But as Don alluded to, the Middleton Together is actually sponsoring and I was calling it the Unplugged event. Don, you use a different term. What was the term?
Less media, more social.
Yes, less media, more social,
So it's the parent engagement as well as that?
as well as this. So
It's a
they're
piece of it,
joining
yeah.
with, as a part of that parent engagement night. And it's an event sponsored by Middleton Together that is trying to get students to recognize the benefit of putting their phones down, putting their social media aside, and having other more face-to-face conversation.
Conversations.
Yeah, I didn't want to go down that road, real. But anyway, I think that it's a wonderful opportunity to coordinate with a lot of different groups. There's a lot of different activities they'll have, not just with parent engagement night, but also with that Middleton Together on more, oh gosh, I said it wrong.
Less media.
Less media and more social. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great catch. It'll still be 6 o'clock for the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can figure out how to work that out. So if there's something that we want to go and take a recess for a minute in the meeting and then go participate in something, it might be a long night, but it might be worthwhile to peek our heads into some things.
That'd be great.
I think it would be worth looking and approve our meeting schedule too. It's possibly doing a second semester as well.
Yeah, during the spring.
Having one each
another.
semester
Yeah.
at the high
that'd be
school.
great.
I think it gives those, especially those high school students that are having to come for some of their classes, an opportunity to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Is there a time set for that less media, more social media?
Well, we've talked with some of their organizers, and we're gonna coordinate our meeting, their meeting, and the parent night. We'll kind of have to get us all together in the same room, but we'll get a schedule put together for it.
Perfect, thank you.
All right,
Okay,
let's talk about air quality.
all right.
It sucks.
And you want to just give an overview of how we approach that as Middleton High School, and then maybe address that from the SIC
Yes.
perspective?
So from the high school's perspective, we just put together, this is all in conjunction with the SIC, Idaho High School Activity Association. Idaho High School Activity Association's little paragraph on air quality is simply, I mean, it's pretty vague. It's a conference deal, it's a high school deal, just because depending on where you are, you might look at it different. We as the SIC have tried to be consistent, especially when it comes to game days, in terms of especially trying to reschedule in the order of what's the most important events to try to reschedule, different things like that. So as you look at air quality, there's green's good, yellow is moderate, orange is unhealthy, but you can still go. Red, you finally get to the line. When you get to red, we would cancel and reschedule all games because there's heavy exertion. Our practice plans when it gets to red consists of if they want to do anything, full speed, et cetera. We just divvy up the gym space, and it's, getting, especially this time of year, it's football, girls, boys soccer. I mean, cross country, volleyball, everyone's trying to get in the gym for space if possible. But we will let them go outside for a practice purpose, as long as it's a walkthrough or really light jog. I mean, that's thoroughly allowed once you're in that color. Anything purple, maroon above, that's 200 plus, and we're just done outside for the day. So the SIC has similar, we're all going to look at one of the stations that the Idaho Air Quality has right now. So Boise is 92. 95 is a Rocky Mountain. That's a brand new one that just came online a couple weeks ago. And then this is the Ridgecrest area where St. Al's is over in Napa. We're the only school that's actually going to look at two of them. Like we'll look at the
that
Rocky
makes
one and
sense.
the Napa one. Some others, West Ada will all just review the one in Rocky,
Yeah.
right? So you sort of go off of those. And then the other, if you want to sort of get a map perspective, you go to airnow.gov. I don't know, do you guys have the sheet we created? I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So at the bottom of that has some different links that we'll look at. The Air Now one sort of piggybacks off these and creates what a big map could look like with different colors. So,
Nice.
and it was yellow. So just so you guys sort of know the protocol, especially when we knew this week was coming. So we've sent this out on our different messaging platforms, but the first message I sent out today was at 5 a.m. and just said, here's where we are. So we had teams rolling in at 6 this morning, first day of fall practice to start. Then we sent another one out at 6 and we looked good. This afternoon we bumped up to the orange, but then as an hour ago, it's already headed the other direction. So this would be Air Now. Sort of gives you an idea. Then at times, I don't know if you can scroll down on this one, I forget what button you hit, but it'll also just show you a map. So yeah, there's a map, gives you an idea of what it looks like.
Say, Andy, do you use the Apple Weather app? Because it has the air quality map on it. Do you know if that's very accurate?
I don't know if it's very accurate, but we do not. So that way collectively, everyone in the SIC is looking at the exact same
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So everyone in the SIC is using these two to determine games. We get a little bit more leeway with practice, which is one of the reasons we're piggybacking off the Rocky Mountain one and the Ridgecrest one and this just to determine.
That's a good idea.
Can you talk a little bit about chasing the good air? If there's a,
Yeah, I mean, you guys, if you remember a couple years ago, we played that first game at Fruitland. Football games are the hardest game to reschedule. Soccer's easy, cross country is easy, volleyball is not an issue. JV sub-varsity football games, you sort of have flexibility throughout the week where you might want to move those. Golf usually typically is not an issue, even if it's in the red, just because. of the
'Cause you
type
can
of
walk,
sport
yeah.
it is. You can walk.
We have had one canceled though.
But
Doug was canceled 2
every
years
once in a while,
ago.
they can be right if it gets hot enough. And golf, a golf match is extremely hard to reschedule as well.
Oh,
But yeah, so we would look, even if we knew it was a Friday and us versus CUNA, Eagle versus Rocky, Hawaii versus Meridian, and it's just bad when we collectively know that, you know, it's good in Fruitland or it's good or whatever, you know, we're gonna get on the horn with their athletic director just to see if we can potentially play a triple header there the next day, just to make sure we get those games in particular in. And when it comes to outside events, varsity games are gonna take priority in rescheduling and then JV or freshman games.
makes sense.
any questions? Just want to make sure the board's aware. I believe we're probably in for quite a few days where we have to make adjustments this season, so wanted to make sure we were all aware and prepared. SIC superintendents have met, SIC athletic directors have met, so that we're all on the same page as far as how we're managing this.
That's good, thank you.
A lot of days over 200 last week. Of course, being a farmer and weather nerd, I'm watching this every day. So any of those days over 200, we'd have to reschedule. We couldn't have.
Yeah, and
And practice.
if it's a legitimate game, we're rescheduling anything that's above 150.
Mhm.
Yeah. But maybe rain in a few days, so maybe
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Hopefully. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
All right, school naming.
And actually, I listed that twice. If we could go to the elementary school updates just as a whole, I
That works great.
messed that up, but. So, with our elementary school, we've got several things in the works here. The first thing, for you as a board is our school naming. Do you mind bringing up that list? We had originally about 200 submissions. Our committee, parents and community members got together and narrowed it to our six options up here. We can go through what those are. So you have Kingsbury Meadows. As you're aware, the school is on Kingsbury. Kingsbury was a family that did settle out in that area, hence the name there. Sunset, they talked about, the committee said, you know, there were several different versions of Sunset, you know, Sunset Meadows, Sunset Creek, those kind of things. So they brought that as an option. Frontier Elementary was another one. Just to make sure the board's aware, there is a Frontier Elementary in, I believe, West Ada School District.
Yeah.
Freedom Elementary, Huckleberry Elementary, and Gerhauser Elementary. And you know, we had said when we were putting this together that we were trying to kind of stay away from names, but we didn't just say absolutely no names. The committee came with the Gerhauser name because the husband in that family was a longtime principal, albeit in Caldwell, and teacher. His wife was very involved at College of Idaho and with the establishment of College of Idaho. So very engaged family, but they lived within Middleton. So that was where that name had come from. But when it comes down to it, these were the 6 names that the committee wanted the board to look at. And this is something where you as board have the opportunity to select the name Or put it as, narrow it to 2 and let our community vote. That would be another opportunity you could do. Once we have that name established, we've worked with our committee and starting to work with the elementary principals to have all of our elementary students actually vote for what the mascot will be. So once we know the name, the committee will produce a list of different mascots that it could be, and then we would let the elementary kids make that selection. So now I have handed that off to you as a board to make that decision.
I think it might be good to pick 2 and go forward and let the community pick.
I think that it would be great to have the community have the final decision on the name.
Yeah, that's fine. I can just tell you my favorite is Kingsbury Meadows, just because so many people know where Kingsbury Road is. So the location is the name. I think that's pretty helpful for a lot of people. That's just my 2 bits worth.
No, I like Kingsbury Meadow.
Yeah.
I think take the meadows off.
Take the meadows off, just
Yeah.
Kingsbury?
Just Kingsbury,
It's not
Kingsbury.
meadows.
but
Meadow. Doesn't have to be plural.
I like freedom. I'll just give you my
Yeah,
2 cents.
Freedom and Kingsbury Meadows.
should we pick 2 then and put it to?
We can pick 2, we can pick 3, and then send it out to the community.
And what we would do to send it out to the community this week, we would create social media posts, emails going out to our parents, and give them kind of a timeline. You can vote from this time to this time. We'll create that through our system, and then essentially you could just say whatever the winning vote is, we would do that.
Yeah, I think to have 3, you would have Kingsbury, then Kingsbury Meadows, and then Frontier, or any
Oh,
other
okay.
one that you guys, that
Okay.
would be my suggestion. But
I would throw Frontier in the mix.
Frontier,
Okay.
yeah. Did you say Frontier or Freedom?
Freedom.
Freedom. So Freedom, Frontier.
Right now, Freedom, Frontier, and Kingsbury.
Yeah. 'cause-
Should we do Kingsbury and Kingsbury Meadows, so you have a choice between those 2?
Well, the committee
You guys can-
gave us Kingsbury Meadows, so
you
I
can
kind
just
of
have that.
Oh.
am okay with sticking with what the committee, because that came from community to committee.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what the committee did, so. Freedom, Frontier, and Kingsbury Meadows. Everybody's good with that?
I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody
If
wants
that's-
Huckleberry, I can't believe it.
Okay, so we will put those 3, well, I should say, there's an action item later.
Yep.
But, that would be, once that's, determined by the vote, we will create a vote that we'll send out to our community and
Perfect.
spread that as far and wide as we can to make sure, we'll try and post that on some of the other, community pages that we know, that we're connected with. So that
Maybe
we-
Magazine Star.
Yeah, it's our
Middleton and Gazette, I'm not sure what it's called, sorry.
Middleton Star magazine.
Middleton, yeah, there you go.
No.
They're pretty good to,
Middleton Spirit.
Middleton,
There's a
thank you,
Star-
I'm like, I know
they
I'm
do
not
Star
saying it
Spirit
right,
and Middleton
but somebody will
Spirit.
help me.
There's a Gazette,
And the Gazette, yep.
No, if you say.
I don't know if we'll be able to get it in time. for the
But I feel like
Gazette,
the Spirit,
but
they're
the
pretty
Spirit
good
has
social
an
media, like,
social
yes.
media
Yeah.
presence. So anyway, we will put that out once that has been approved by the board and vote, so.
Perfect.
Okay, wanted to talk about the bid approval, and we, as a board, will need to arrange for a special meeting to go through those bids. The first part of that, though, bids are due to ESI on Friday, Thursday, August 20th.
Oh.
On Friday, August 21st, they'll do an opening of that. It would be appropriate for at least one board member to be present at that. That'll be at 10 o'clock at ESI's headquarters. And we would do, essentially all they're doing is opening those up and organizing all the bids, identifying what the lowest bid is, putting that kind of a work together. It's kind of a formal thing. It's not a public meeting, not a public opening. That'll happen Friday, the 21st. Then the following week, the week of the 24th, we would need to have hold a special, board meeting, which would be an open public meeting, that we would go through all of those bids and they would present that to you as a board, so you can, because you have to approve as a board those bids. So the main thing for right now is determining a date during the week of the 24th that we could do the bid opening, and then identifying, if it's not required to have a board member at that other opening of the bids. I'll be attending, not required, but if a board member wanted to attend, we'd probably only want to send one.
So that special meeting's different?
Yes.
It's,
It's
yeah,
the 8/21?
8/21 is the one that's the opening, and it's just
would just
a
be-
physical process of opening up all the bids and getting them organized. But we
And
want to
you'll
have,
go to that?
and I'll go to that.
you'll go to
A
that.
board member could go, but isn't required to. The following week is where the board as a whole need to meet, so that you can make the
Yes.
board action of approving.
Then
the
we'll
bids.
see all the same.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna see it all anyway, so
I'm,
who would like to go, Freddie?
I don't mind going down there. I head out that way anyways.
Okay, so we'll plan on Jake attending the 21st at 10.
Yep.
Unless anybody else wanted to dive in on
And do we have a
Busy.
suggested day for the next week?
What works best? The week of the 24th through the 28th.
it.
Everyone look at your calendars.
Depends on the time.
Early in the week,
Early in the week, and I need to do it after 3:30.
I'm dropping a child off at college later that week, in the week.
The 25th, would that work?
You can do
That's
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I'm available either day.
Are you available on Tuesday, the 25th, Derek?
Tuesday, the 25th of August?
Yes.
That should work.
Is there a better time of day for you?
No, I mean, mornings are always probably a little bit better.
But you need
But-
it after 3:30?
Yeah,
Or
I have a job.
towards the end of the day. I mean,
No, it's just 8.
either way, I'll
So you
figure.
want to say,
What
I
time?
would say either 3:30 or 4:30. Don't try and go at 4.
Okay, yeah, would 4:30 be easier? Or would it be easier to roll in at 3:30? Otherwise, everybody's getting out of school.
4:30 would be.
Probably 4:30. Let's plan on 4:30.
4:30.
And we meet here?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll be a public meeting. We'll post agendas and all
Yep.
of that for.
So Tuesday, the 25th at 4:30.
And you'll send a text to remind us.
Of
too.
course.
That's
If I remember.
That's the best part.
You don't put it in your phone?
Not
Put it in your
when
phone right now,
I
Jay.
depend on it.
All right, perfect.
Okay, and then finally, the groundbreaking, I had reached out to you as a board, I've reached out to several of the folks that we would like to invite, looking at during the week of the 31st. So 31st, 1st, 2nd, and what the day that seems to work most consistently with, the folks that would like to have be there is Wednesday, September 2nd. Ideally, we do that in the afternoon as well, close to, we could do it at 4:30, but later in we'd want to do it later in the afternoon so that teachers that are teaching that want to come out and
Mhm.
watch the groundbreaking would be able to come as well.
That'd be great.
Any concerns with scheduling that for Wednesday, September 2nd at 4:30?
Mm-mm.
4:30 now.
Okay, we'll get that put in place as well
At the site.
at the site.
All right.
Yeah. And we'll work with ESI to get everything arranged for that, so.
Perfect, thank you. All right, any other questions?
Sounds good.
All right, let's move on to the really fun one.
Policy review.
We
No,
got one more.
supplemental levy.
Yes.
Discussion.
Even more
Yeah, so
policy.
I've added some documents at the station there. Lisa, probably just this one.
That was the same.
So, last month, we had talked about different options regarding the levy. You had asked for me to come back with a more detailed description of what it would entail for each of the three, or each of those three amounts. So what we've got here is three different arrangements of the different categories. So the first one in the column there would total up to 950. Let's go ahead and go up one more section if we can. We get, oh, yeah. Right, yeah, right there. Or can you, yeah, right there, thank you. So this first column totals out to $950,000. The cost per 100,000 from the 950 is up at the very top in the gray, and that's $20. So that would be $20 per 100,000 would be the total cost if we were to ask for a levy, supplemental levy at a total of $950,000. That'd be $950,000 per year for 2 years. The way that what we identified as kind of being the focus for that would be technology, curriculum, security and resource officers, and then a smaller amount for both certified and classified staff. That was kind of what as we were looking at how to balance out priorities for some of the things. So $950,000 obviously doesn't get us back to where we were, but it hits some of those higher priority areas. And these are suggestions based on conversations we've had here in the district office. Obviously you as a board can have different ideas of what would be we would want to focus on. The next one is the 1.5, where we were at was 1.5. Looking at those amounts and kind of what our needs are as coming up, we'd be looking at those certified and adding those certified and classified staff amounts back in. The security and resource, putting that up to 250 to have our all three of our resource officer, all three of our elementary security and the resource officer would have taken that 275, which is what we were asking for with the 1.9. But we feel like there's probably ways we can get a part-time resource or something like that within that same amount. The curriculum amount is higher, technology amount is a little bit higher, but we would still drop off the pay to participate in the transportation and the maintenance unless you as a board wanted to adjust those amounts. Then the 1.9 is essentially, I mean, we rounded off to zeros, the numbers, but essentially the amounts that we were looking at when we went for the levy this last time in May. So those are, and so for that one, the total cost would be $39 per 100,000. For the 1.5 million, it'd be $31 per 100,000, and for the 950, it'd be $20 per 100,000.
And what is the current levy per $100,000 right now?
You don't have
We don't have one right now.
What was it?
Oh, it was, I want to say 31.
31's what I remember, but.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be because.
I'm pretty sure
The
it's
31, but it might vary just because you take more stuff into your tax base.
And this would actually, the numbers would actually change after September 15th. Once the calculations come in from what the counties make, they make adjustments then. It would stay at 31 and 39 because that was set last September and has, those numbers haven't changed. Yeah. So those are the amounts, and then it's deciding as a board whether it's those amounts, and if we were to go for it, would we go for it in November? Would we go for it in May? The ramifications of going for it in November are there is a lot more things on the on the ballot. There's all of the state races. Our local races don't have a lot of competition in the local races, but all the state races have those competitions. We also have the, there's initiatives, there's a referendum on abortion rights in there. Those are all things that are gonna be on the ballot in November. And then in May, there will be fewer other items on the ballot. But that also means if it doesn't pass in May, then we'll start the 27-28 school year without those items. And there wouldn't be another chance. So those are kind of the it's kind of sixes. It's just deciding which avenue you want it to go as a board.
Well, the reason I would rather have it on the November ballot, well, it's the big midterms, there'll be a lot of big turnout. It seems like, and we talked about before how the bond elections, the lower turnout elections tend to be more favorable for bonds, but I think for the levy, where you're having mainly older people that don't have kids that are showing up to vote, and they're the ones that are voting against it. That with the better turnout, I think you would have better, more favorable results, because you're gonna have more parents, more younger people going to the midterms.
Right. And that's certainly a possibility. That's not something that I can speak to as, yes, that's what would happen. That's a possible pathway that would, go down.
Just my feeling for what we might get better turnout, more favorable result, but it's a guess too.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Cause I kind of feel that way too, and then I think, well.
I think another thing just to throw into the mix might be the voter fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
You run that in November, we've gone May of 25, November of 25, May of 26, and then we go November of 26, all asking for.
I'm not sure that's gonna be a big difference because, I mean, if we're talking about turnout, I think that it's gonna have the same feel of just another election and one that may not be as important to show up for.
Yeah.
I would be comfortable trying it in November again and just making sure that we're sharing exactly what this looks like. Like, this is, you no longer are paying the $31 you once were paying. So it's not adding on top of that previous levy that we're now dealing with the need for funding to take care of our schools and our community.
Well, I think that really affects it if there's also the ambulance levy and the fire department levy, and you get people like, no more new taxes, boom, boom, boom. But when, I don't know if we're gonna have an ambulance levy.
Ambulance is passed and it's done.
The fire is passed.
Fire is passed and it's done.
That will really help if it's just us.
And I think they were kind of shocking maybe to taxpayers, so I would hesitate a little bit.
With November?
Yeah.
Cause isn't that May
It
of
wasn't
27?
before, but
Yeah, it would be May of 27.
I go back and forth, cause if you wait till May and then it doesn't happen, we're stuck in the same situation we are this year. With the likeliness that we're gonna grow. That's the likeliness. There's nothing slowing down there. So, I don't know. Anybody got a magic 8-ball? Sure need one right now.
And I'd be for the middle amount, the 1.5 is kind of where I'm at for.
I'm back to where I was before, where the people that are gonna vote no are gonna vote no regardless of what the amount is.
Mm-hmm.
But, at least we have something to reference where we have been in the past. If we go with the middle amount, I would still push for the top because it's not a huge difference, but, I also want to be respectful of the feedback of our constituents. So I would agree with Jay. I would say we run with the middle, and then.
Try November.
Yeah, just try November. And that way, if it doesn't go, we can try to make our case again. and then, yeah, figure it out from there.
Well, I like the impression that we're trying to save some, we're being cost effective the best we can, and being conscious, like you said, to the constituents who said, no, they want to tighten the belt, so.
Well, we tightened the belt. The problem is, it doesn't look like we're gonna get any more from the state this next year either, so I kind of worry that we are putting ourselves, I don't know.
Isn't the middle what we did last?
It's the one that passed most recently, yes. That's what, when we ran it in, May, we did 1.9.
The 1.9,
Yeah.
Yes.
the one.
The last one that passed was 1.5.
Do you feel like you could get information out enough in time for November?
Yep.
Feel like you have time?
Still a few months.
Yep, we got time to get the information out. One thing, if we do November, at our special meeting, we'll probably have to approve the ballot language, because our ballot language has to be in.
You mean August?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
August. At our special meeting on August 24th, because the ballot language has to be into the county by August 28th this year. Typically, it's in September. And so what we would do, if this is what the direction you'd like me to go, I'll prepare the ballot language for a November election for the 1.5. Is there any adjustment to the amounts that you have here that you would like to recommend? Do we want to pull some of the amounts off from some of these other categories to add back into pay for participation, add back into transportation as a way of possibly helping parents say, look, we do this so that you don't have to?
Honestly, I mean, it's, the reality is our expenses have increased way beyond the last time we passed a levy. And I would say that I would not move anything only because teaching these kids is much more important to me than whether or not, I mean, the community has done an amazing job of rallying behind sports. Like if there's kids that need help raising those funds, I'm sure that we can have, that the community would jump in. But I would err on the side of supporting our staffing needs over the other things.
Go ahead.
Is technology going to be needing to buy new stuff?
It's primarily the replacement for the one-to-one devices.
It's time for an upgrade, yeah, or.
And
just a
those are
redo
just,
or-
we're getting to the end of the
We
lifespan.
have kids using them, so they're
Okay.
crashed.
That's the
So-
primary reason for including technology on that list.
Well, and the other comment I was thinking about, when does this go into effect if it were to pass?
If it were to
Next
pass,
year.
we would get it, the funds would start coming in during the 27-28 school year.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was thinking maybe curriculum, because we're not going.
Yeah, so it would be in place in time for us to address our math curriculum needs.
Okay. What about science?
Well, science we just did.
Yeah, science.
So did we buy
We
curriculum
were-
for that?
Well,
I don't remember.
we bought some curriculum, but we did a lot
I
of,
wasn't here.
we did a lot of things where we were, like at the elementary level, we were creating those,
There's some free things
packets
they could
ourselves.
use, yeah.
we purchased all the materials and created the science kits
Okay.
for the teachers.
Maybe I was wrong when that happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you,
all right.
I'm just gonna put this out here, do you feel like though that the voters are gonna be like, why do you keep asking us?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you that right
They
now.
probably will, but
Because
I
I-
hope they get the clue that we need, it's a
Well,
need for teaching.
It is, but would it be more prudent, and I don't wanna do this, but would it be more prudent to wait till May? And it is what it is, we've already gone through cuts, we know what the cuts are, if it doesn't pass, then fine. But we're also about to groundbreak on a school that people are paying attention to, and our timing has been unfortunate, because in their minds, if we say no, it doesn't matter, they're gonna figure out how to do it anyway, right? But we've actually had to make cuts. I'm just worried that, and I agree with the voter fatigue, but I also agree with you, Jay, so that's where I'm very torn, but my gut kind of feels like we just wait till May. I hate to say that, but
But if we don't pass in May.
if we don't pass it,
Wait until May. Wait till May and it doesn't pass.
then we,
We
yeah,
have to cut more.
yeah, you're probably right.
And at some point, you can only cut so much.
No, we're kind of,
I mean, we're already affecting students as it is.
I agree with you.
And so that's the only thing is people need to realize, the public needs to realize this is not something we're just trying to throw out there.
No, there's definitely a need.
We need it desperately. Every school district needs it, not just us, but every school district needs a supplemental levy to be able to support because we are not getting the support from the state.
You're correct.
So we've got to have it. And I understand the voter fatigue and everything else, but at some point, I mean, if we wait till May, now we're 6 months off. And if it doesn't pass then, now we're really cutting. We got to cut even more.
Yeah,
So that,
I don't know, or in 6 months, we've struggled through and it's been hard and people are fatigued, teachers are fatigued, students and parents are fatigued, so maybe they would vote yes. That's just a thought. I know.
Yeah, but it's not the teachers and it's not the teachers and what have you that are the ones that put us over the line to pass it.
Our teachers are.
It's the community members that do.
Our
Yeah,
teachers
you're-
are
yeah.
amazing and they've been resilient and they have been
Absolutely, they are.
doing everything they can with what we've been able to get for them. And so I would say that November gives us a chance to, and if something goes awry, we can adjust conversations and we can try again in May. I just want to give our kids is off, like, I don't want to play checkers with this thing. I just want to try and help people continually understand the importance of it.
Yeah, it feels like if we don't try in November, like we're sandbagging the deal. And I think where we've only been getting like 30% of parents show up for these unpopular elections, we might get 40, 50% parents, who knows, on the big midterm election.
Well, we did increase our yes, right? We increased
Yeah.
the disparity between the yes and
Yeah,
the
we
no.
went from 43 to 49.
So we're trending the right way, maybe.
Yeah.
Like 200 votes is all we needed.
Well, and we can show, hey, this time we're asking for less. And that's gonna be, they're gonna remember that. I think that's gonna be.
Didn't we only asked for 1.5 in the last vote.
No, 1.9.
We asked for
Did we
1.9.
go for we went for 1.9?
Yeah.
But even one, it's what it is.
I'm feeling like 1.5 in November.
1.5 in November. Everybody good with that?
We're not
Yes.
Okay,
ready to.
Okay,
do
so I will bring
there's your
the,
direction.
I
Yeah,
will bring the language into that special meeting. We'll make sure, we're talking about it in this meeting, that's gonna be where we finalize that, levy language. But we'll make sure that we get the agendas out. I mean, the agenda's posted early so that all of that's taken care of. So,
okay,
thank you.
perfect. Thank you. All right, let's move on to policy. Woohoo!
Super excited.
My favorite in all the land.
Really there's not changes from the last reading to this reading. Feedback so far has been that the proposed changes are consistent and where we need to go. The only change I would offer for tonight is on that leave of absence policy to move that forward into policy tonight, which is the bereavement leave change, just so then we can get the negotiated agreement language finalized for that bereavement leave change, that was part of negotiations. And we can move that policy forward just to finalize some of those beginning of the year pieces with the negotiated agreement. Yeah,
What about that's policy 5400.
yeah.
What about on policy 9010, the school district facilities, can we exempt the fire and the police from that so that they can use our buildings for their training purposes as a good partner, community partner? Thank you.
Is there other suggestions on that, especially that one that you guys have or would like to see as we continue to work through? Or is the direction that we currently have at that 25, 50, 75, 100% with those different entities.
Well, do we know what that,
Have we set the
Number
fee
is-
yet?
We haven't set the fee yet. We're getting additional information back from what we're seeing in other places being used.
oh.
We're
and
doing some
others, so-
homeworks,
Yeah, we just don't have all the data in of how similar type facilities, you know, what's the going rate essentially. So we're trying to make sure we have that because we've got a lot of different types of facilities to build
Okay.
into that.
it's kind of like, well, 25% of what?
Yeah, and that's what we'll bring to you as, when we bring that in
Okay.
September.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah,
usually those
no.
community partners are big donors
Yeah, I
anyway,
just
so.
went-
And I just might give a note to the board. We have passed that message on that we will be charging for things to all of our folks that are normal users of our buildings. And so what we've started doing, because this policy is still in flux, we've made short-term planning, like we haven't done anything past December of this year. And we've let all of them know that once policy passes, for anything that goes beyond December, it's going to be implemented based on the policy that the board approves. So some of these the prices is that pricing that we've done for some of these organizations has been based on the old matrix because we don't have anything approved
Okay.
for anything else. So we just, to try and get those things moving, Greater Middleton Parks and Rec was, as an example, we talked through with them how we would be working through the charges. We've arranged for what the pricing will be for the first half of the year, and then we'll create a new agreement once we have the new policy finalized.
Sounds good. So we're moving all of these to the third reading except for 5,400?
5,400 will move to policy.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be the recommendation.
Let's do that one first. Who would like to do that?
So I'll move that policy 5,400 is approved.
Second.
All those in favor of moving policy 5,400 into policy, say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Who's ready to read them all for a third reading?
Jake loves doing this. I'll do it.
I can,
I'm gonna do it.
I don't mind. I'm just wanting to make sure I have all of them.
You're good.
Oh, I
I'll
do.
check off with you. Here we go.
Okay, I move that policy 2353, 2353F, policy 3295, policy 3295P1, policy 3330, 3331, 3500, excuse me. Policy 3500F, policy 3515F, policy 3515P1, policy 9010, we're gonna have that one go. And then policy 3068, policy 7400, and policy 7400P3, policy 8070, and policy 8243 be moved to a third reading.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did you say aye?
Yeah.
Sorry. Do I need to say something else for
Yeah, no,
you?
we're good.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to action items. Action item A, I would entertain a
I move that we approve certify or approve the Promise Academy annual review.
Second.
certification, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Action item B,
I move that we approve the classified handbook.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
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 I move that we approve the new course request for fly fishing.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
I move that we approve the special education handbook.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 I make a
Aye.
oh, everybody's eyed. I make a motion that we table, items E and F under section 9, until next meeting so that we can get that information.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, probably,
We would need to table G.
yep, we need to table G.
I make a motion that we table, item G to, approve or deny the school resource officer, contract with Middleton City, to come back next meeting with a little more information.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 And
Was the motion for E, did it include E and F?
Yes,
E
he
and F,
said
yeah.
E and F. Thank you. All right, I would entertain a motion for the procedure, the 3 names of how we're gonna name the elementary school.
I move that we approve the procedure for naming the new elementary school
With the names.
with the names Freedom, Frontier, Kingsbury Meadows,
Being put to
To the community, yeah.
put to the community.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right,
I move that we approve the special meeting for the elementary school bid approval.
to be on
Second.
Tuesday, the 25th.
Yeah, Tuesday, the 25th at 4:30 PM
Thank you.
at Middleton School District office.
at the Middleton School District office.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Jake, you're it.
As per section 74-2061B of Idaho Code, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent, I make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Cindy's got it.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Trustee Moore?
Yes.
Trustee Dempsey?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you.